Good afternoon. I'm Caitlin Matson, and this is the Green Room. I'm so excited to welcome into the Green Room today Bill Johnson, former vice president of Senseney Music and conductor of the Senseney Community Band, which is an establishment in Wichita, uh, the community band that everybody wants to take part in, and they have since 1987. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
I wanted to talk about the band itself for a while. I'm very curious about when it first started, which you've been a part of since day one. Can you take us back to 1987 and the conversations that were happening at Senseney? How did you get a band going?
Absolutely. The Senseney had been in existence about 9 years, and we had two repair people, Kevin and Renee Fanensteel, who came up to my office. I was vice president of band and orchestra at that time, and they said, "You ever thought about having a community band?" And said, "There's not one in Wichita currently that would be open to everyone." There was kind of a union band. And I said, "Sounds like a good idea to me. Let's see what Denny says." So I went around to the office and said, "Hey, Denny, what have you ever thought about having a community band?" And he said, "Well, yeah, let's do. I'll play tuba." And I said, "Great." So Kevin and Renee and I started and put it together. Denny arranged a couple of interviews and a newspaper article, and the newspaper article said all he wants is 76 trombones. So on April 7th, 1987, we had our first rehearsal, and in the music store, we set up 30 chairs and got some music out. We thought, well, we'll see what shows up. Well, 106 people showed up, and we had absolutely no room. And of those 106 people, only no percussionists. Everybody was a wind player that showed up at that time. So we were caught off guard by the amount of people that was there. But that started it, that got us going, and we have continued for 37 seasons after that, doing what we do.
It is an institution in the Wichita area and beyond. You have people who have joined you from neighboring towns, seeking out an opportunity to be a part of something, be a part of a music group. People travel in to Wichita.
Oh, that was the case. So we've had them from as far away as Winfield and Ark City that have come in to do that. Our original goal and kind of our mission statement was that we wanted to provide an opportunity for the amateur musician to play music and to give back those that had played in high school and college and gotten away from it, and those that were in other professions and might want to get back to playing their music. So that's what we set it out to do. But we are a little different in that city bands and other community bands might do a rehearsal on one night and a concert at the end of that week. And our goal all along was that in order to play good classical band music, we needed to have more rehearsal. So we set it up to make sure that we have 5 or 6 rehearsals before we do a concert so that we can play harder literature, but we can also play the classics, the real meat and potatoes of the band world. And that has drawn in the people who want to come play. They want to play that music. They want to play that difficult of music. They want to be challenged, and they respond.
Yes, I imagine they do. And your schedule, you play regularly during the summer, but I also have seen, uh, advertisements for holiday band concerts around Christmas time. I think one time I remember, hearing about a concert that you did around St. Patrick's Day. Do you have performances consistently throughout the year?
We have 2 seasons. We set up to start in mid-April and finish in the end of June, first part of July, depending on venues that we play at. And then we have the Christmas season, and the Christmas season starts in November and goes, we usually play 3 Christmas concerts in December. And that is kind of nice in that we are not obligating our musicians for a full year, and we're not obligating them to a long-term commitment. They only need to do a couple of months in the summer and a couple of months at Christmas, and they're ready to go. And it kind of keeps it fresh. it doesn't allow it to go stale and the music to go stale.
You had to adjourn for a couple of years around COVID, as we all had to. The performing arts took a big hit. We had to press pause. What were your concerns coming back? Was there
Uh,
constant communication with your musicians? People were just itching to get back.
Actually, there was very little communication with the musicians. In March of 2020 is when COVID affected us. That's when we started seeing that groups should not be getting together. And I went to Lori, who was then the owner of Senseney, and I said, Lori, what should we do? And she said, we can't be together. So we did not have a season that summer of 2020 or a Christmas season of 2020. So in 2021, the vaccines had started to come around. So we met again, and she said, I'm just not comfortable doing a summer season in 2021. And I agreed with her. So we got back together in November of 2021 for a Christmas season. And she said, yeah, I think we can do that. The vaccines were working in group. And I thought we'd have 30 or 40 people. I sent out my email list, and a lot of people says, no, I'm not comfortable coming back to play. I'm not ready to do this yet. And I thought, we're not going to have very many. Well, 95 people walked through the door in November, so we had a 90-piece concert band, and it's been that way ever
Ever
since.
since. We're going to be back and talk more about the Senseney Community Band, but also kind of dive into the legacy of Denny Senseney and Senseney music in Wichita with Bill Johnson. We'll be back in just a few moments. That was the United States Marine Band performing selections from L'Arlésienne by Georges Bizet. This is the Green Room, and I have Bill Johnson with me. Bill is the conductor of the Senseney Community Band, and Bill was also, before he retired, vice president at Senseney Music. Senseney Music, it has such a legacy in Wichita and throughout Kansas and beyond. We don't really think about it or know about it, here in our little bubble, but what a well-respected business and such a fantastic asset to the community.
Oh, thank you. That's nice to hear. The it goes back to Denny Senseney and Joe Hume, who Joe was encouraged to open a store in Wichita in 1978 by some friends of his, and he partnered with Denny, and they opened Hume Music on 1407 East Terry in Wichita, an old movie theater. And in 1984, 85, Joe had two other stores, and he felt he needed to pay attention to those, and so he sold his partnership out to Denny. And Denny then took the store over and made it Senseney Music, and that's when we started forward. And Denny was a forward thinker. He was a band director and had that passion, and really dedicated to music teachers. And that was the mission of our store. And so everybody he hired was in the profession, understood the profession, and wanted to help teachers improve, help students improve. And that became our mission, is that whatever we did to support music education in not only Wichita, but we traveled, way west. We've had accounts in Dodge City, Garden City, out west, up north, up around Salina. I mean, we were all over the state, but we were using the same mission. And that all came from Denny's forward thinking and his mission and the staff that we had. We had some of the finest teachers that came into the business in Ken Jones, Vern Zilke, Krista Hart in our choral department, Deanne Diller, Jeanette Rupert, Kathy Furman in our piano department. I had people like Jim Marta, Jerry Stone, George Naylor. I mean, we had some fantastic educators that
Yes.
were on our staff, and that's
Yeah.
what made us go, is we were dedicated to our teachers.
And Senseney Music isn't simply a music store that you can walk into and buy, a guitar and a method book. You give lessons right there in the store. You have educational consultants, which go out to different school districts and do instrument rental. and repairs. Like
That's
we were
correct.
mentioning accounts that you have out in Western Kansas. Is that what you're referencing? Accounts with school districts?
Accounts, our accounts were the places where we actually did our rental business, where we went out and were doing rental, but we called on all the schools out there
Yeah.
to let them know that we could be of service. Some we just did repair, some we sold music, some we sold instruments. So we were out there as a full line music store, which is very rare today,
Yes, I was going
because
to ask
yeah, there are
about,
very few music stores that sell music any longer. They might sell a method book or so, but they don't sell band music and choral music and piano music. But we did, and that
yeah,
was our bread and butter. That's how we started, with selling music, and then instruments came later. Then we expanded into the combo world, where we got into guitars and amps and pianos, and it was full line. If you wanted anything to do with music, come see
that's where
us.
you went.
Our lessons are still going on. Palin has continued that. Yes,
Yes. So, Lori bought Senseney, um, and we've lost Lori in the past year.
I mean,
And
just a year ago.
Senseney has been bought by Palin Music, which is a Midwestern music business with different locations throughout the Midwest.
Correct. Uh, Lori bought the business from Senseney, from Denny Senseney in 2008. That's when she became the owner, and she continued the Senseney name, the Senseney band, the Senseney way of doing business. Unfortunately, Lori got sick about a year ago, and it was a terrific blow to all of us that that in last April was when she became sick, and by July she was gone.
Mm.
And it was a terrific blow. She had lined up to sell the store, and there was not another person to buy the store to continue the Senseney legacy. So uh, Brett Palin and the Palin family was interested in buying the store, and so she sold to them. It's funny that Andy Sapini was adamant in the sale after Lori had passed and everything that the band continue, that the
Yeah.
community band still be a part of it. And he said, if Palin doesn't want to support the band, I will. And he was going to take his own income from the sale of the store to keep the band moving in one way or another. But Palin stepped up in a big time and said, no, we want the band. We want it to continue. They renamed the concert hall, Lori Sapini Concert Hall downstairs. It's our rehearsal hall. It's where we can rehearse. They have a nice picture of her. So yeah, the legacy of Lori is continued with Denny, that she was doing business exactly the same way Denny did from 2008 to 2023. But Palin's a little different. They have a little different philosophy.
The Senseney Community Band still has a couple of summer performances. I have down here in my notes the 21st and the 30th.
Right. The June 21st concert's a little different. It's called Palooza, and it happens on Make Music Day, which is a national Make Music Day. Every organizations all over the country are doing music events on 21st. We do Palooza that evening as a part of Make Music Day. It's just we play eight or nine Sousa marches, and it's just fun.
Mm.
Anybody can come join the band and play. If you haven't played before, we sight read the music and we just have fun. That one is a blast. And then our final concert is Sunday, June the 30th at Risen Savior Lutheran Church, and that's where we do our final classical concert.
Uh, Bill Johnson, conductor of the Senseney Community Band since the beginning in 1987, former vice president of Senseney Music, and to anybody who's been involved in the music world in Kansas, we would call you a household name. So it's an honor to
Oh,
have you on today and to talk to you about this. Thank you for being
thank you.
giving of your time. And if you have any interest in joining the Senseney Community Band, who should they contact? Where do they go?
They can contact Palin Music and they will get the information to me. Or you can just check with any of the band members that are out there. Will tell you how to do it. But the easiest way is to go back through Palin Music, and they will give you an email address in which you can then sign up. It's our only criteria was that you needed to be 16 years of age to join. But we've done away with that because we have families now with middle school kids that are coming in to play too, and there are no auditions, there are no fees. It's open to everyone if you play a band instrument. Now, don't come play an accordion because we don't have room for you, but if it's a band instrument, we do.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Bill.
Thank you, Caitlin. It was a pleasure.